best thing, better than you've ever seen. I'm the new best thing, I'm gonna be the king. I bring that ching, ching, ching. Yeah, I'm the new best thing, I'm the new best thing.
Hello and welcome to Hedera Forum. We're glad you could join us for this, our 21st episode. We are very excited to be bringing you some great content surrounding Calaxy, the creator's galaxy. And we are thrilled to have Cooper Kunz join us. This will be his second time, backed by popular demand. Hey, Cooper, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm grateful to be part of the elite company of second-time guests.
Yes, it's you and Sharky Rob. Shout out to Rob, of course. So you're in great company there. And we're joined as well, as always, by Brandon. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, this one has been a little while in the making. We may or may not be joined also by Spencer Dinwiddie. His schedule's tight today, but he may pop in on us later. We'll see. We're hopeful for that.
Spencer always likes to keep people on his toes, even us. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Okay, Cooper. Well, thanks again. Let's just jump right in. I know the community is anxious. You know, we had the transition. Cooper, everyone knows Cooper Kunz from the developer evangelist for Hedera, and now with Calaxy. So let's start there. So you've been on the program with us before as an employee of Hedera. Welcome back. We understand you've recently taken your talents to Calaxy. That's a LeBron reference there. Can you offer any insights as to how this opportunity presented itself and what has you excited to begin a new chapter working with Calaxy?
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know me already, I'm sure most watching this do. You know, Jesse mentioned it. I previously was on the team at Hedera for almost 3 years, working on everything from, you know, demo applications, website builds, conference talks, you know, tutorials, all the fun stuff that you saw me put into the community. At some point along those 2 to 3 years, obviously I got really interested in building at the application layer, building things that people would be able to use and understand rather than building kind of some, you know, obscure backend technology that we see with most distributed ledger platforms. So actually probably about a year or so ago, I started building a project with a few of my friends called Clink Social. Some people might remember that from the community. We put out a little blog teaser a long time ago, actually, about kind of this vision for a social metaverse that we were looking to build. And one of the unique things that Clink was doing at the time was building an interoperable solution between the Hedera and Flow blockchains. So we were, to our knowledge, the first people to start building a hybrid solution between Hedera and Flow. And we put out an initial blog post talking a little bit about this vision, about how Hedera has this amazing high throughput technology and how Flow is doing interesting things in consumer collectibles. And Spencer at the time was looking at blockchain solutions for what is now Calaxy, and had recently invested in Dapper Labs, being friends with Roham. So he saw this project that was a hybrid solution between two exciting projects that he was looking at. And actually reached out to us, started talking with us as the team. And that's kind of the long story of how I got involved with Calaxy.
All right, very cool. So now we've kind of set the stage. Can you share with us the overall vision for Calaxy and what this technology / platform will enable creators to achieve? And how is development coming along? And is there any timeline you can share with regard to early access and how the beta is going?
Absolutely. So at the 10,000 foot view, for anyone who's not familiar, Calaxy is a platform for personal monetization, specifically hoping to empower the future of content creators. Whether you're an athlete, an artist, a musician, a celebrity, a model, we're really in the rise of what we see as the creator economy, and specifically the creator middle class. We like to talk about how you can walk down the street in New York or San Francisco, walk past someone with, you know, 500,000, 1 million Instagram or Twitter followers who just doesn't yet have an effective toolkit for monetizing that type of engagement or that type of content that they're able to create and distribute. Obviously, those people have a dedicated community of followers already, and we just think that they're currently underserved in the tools that they have to personally monetize and basically be their own means of, for lack of a better phrase, creating their own economies within that community. And so what we do at Calaxy is we are building a decentralized protocol for personal monetization built around the concept of social or personal tokens. And Calaxy is building an application on top of that blockchain-based protocol. Obviously, I'm talking as most of the audience cares and or knows about what blockchain protocols are. But Calaxy builds an application layer for that protocol that makes it really easy for content creators to make social tokens and to set up familiar activities to use those social tokens with. So everything from paid Cameo-like video messages to Patreon-like subscription services, you're able to do really easily within the Calaxy applications, and it's all facilitated by your own personalized social tokens. We'll dive maybe more into that because there's a lot to break down there, but that's kind of like the high-level view. It's easy to use app. If you're a famous person, you can make your own personally branded social token. So there'll be like a Spencer token and an Ezekiel Elliott token in Calaxy. And each creator, based off who they are and the demographics of their community, can set up different services. So if you're, Spencer, people might pay you a lot for a video message, kind of like a Cameo. But if you're a high-profile esports gamer or something like that, you might want to upload things to like a Patreon or a Dropbox-like services that people can pay you for constant access to. So we want to offer, any type of tools to help people make that money directly to their fan base. We want to bring it into one place. You also asked a little bit about how product development is going. It's going very, very well. People would be excited to hear that we are ahead of schedule in my perspective, especially with our migration to the Hedera token service. I can't provide any timelines on when we expect to be ready or when we will be fully migrated. But migration to the Hedera token service means that everyone on Calaxy will have a Hedera-based account. Calaxy tokens will be interoperable with other third-party Hedera-based accounts, all the types of fun things you would expect. And the one thing that I can share is that we are live in a private beta at the moment. We have, maybe 100 or so people in there already. So we're very, very much live in that regard, but working towards refining feature set, finding that product market fit, and making sure when we are ready to open the doors, that it's going to be as seamless as possible. And I see that Spencer actually just hopped on. What's up, Spencer?
What's up, man? Had to do it in transit, but excited to be on the call. Don't let me take too much time. Keep doing your thing.
No worries.
They have some questions queued up for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got one for you here, Spencer. Thanks for taking some time to jump on Hedera Forum. We appreciate that.
No problem.
Hey, man. So how did you discover Hedera? This is kind of a Hedera-centric program. We generally stick to Hedera topics. So I'm just curious, and I know our community will be curious, as how you came across Hedera, and why did Calaxy ultimately choose Hedera to be the underpin to the ecosystem here?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got into the space really early and started kind of going past Bitcoin and researching, other layer ones beyond Ethereum, because obviously CryptoKitties had famously kind of crashed Ethereum to an extent. Hedera kind of came up as not blockchain, but obviously distributed ledger and having, being blockchain 3.0 or whatever. People were kind of coining it as a time, and that's really kind of what piqued my interest on it. I didn't get into it extremely early, unfortunately. I knew they were doing like a SAFD, I believe, at the time, credit investors, and I was just barely get into it. But when it came time to kind of build a platform and circle back, we looked at various different layer ones, Tezos, Algorand, all those, and spoke with the various internal teams or councils, and really, there just wasn't anything as robust as Hedera. Looking at the BFT, like this, just all the things in terms of coming to finality, their ability to handle transactions per second, and near infinite transactions per second if you include sharding and just all that stuff. It made it kind of an easy choice, and also to align yourself with, some of the people that are on the council in terms of Fortune 500 companies. I think decentralization is something that's going to come with a pragmatic approach. I think Hedera is approaching it in that manner versus just thinking that's going to be death to all, legacy systems. They didn't come into power just to give it all away. You know what I mean? Like immediately, I think decentralization will kind of come in waves and like I said, pragmatically. So just a big fan of Hedera in terms of the comprehensiveness of how they build their ecosystem and the math and technology behind it.
Now, it makes perfect sense to us. I mean, we all go through that progression. We come in with Bitcoin and then we go to Ethereum and some of the other altcoins. And a lot of us on this channel, we've landed on Hedera. So no, it makes perfect sense to us.
Yeah, no, same exact journey here.
So I'll tell you one thing. Cooper gave us a great rundown of everything Calaxy. I did have a question. We don't put any limitations anymore on the kind of council members that Hedera can attract. We have Google, we have Tata, we have LG, we have all those big names coming in. Do you think the NBA would be a good fit as a council member, or do you think that would be better for individual franchises?
Actually, that's a good question. So the NBA, as it stands, I believe itself is a nonprofit organization. So are nonprofits allowed to be on Hedera's council?
They are.
They are. So, I mean, yeah. Then I would go to NBA as a whole rather than any one team. I know one of Calaxy's pie in the sky dreams would probably be to sit on Hedera's council as well. Seeing the Chainlink just was able to be on the council. But yeah, I would definitely say it'd have to be the NBA as a whole, because you would want the technology to proliferate through, each team and derivative business lines. You wouldn't want it to just be siloed to, the Brooklyn Nets, for example.
I don't think that has to be a pie in the sky idea. I think it makes perfect sense. I mean, you guys were born on Hedera, and as we go forward, there's going to be blockchain companies that roll on, that roll off. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Curious.
That's up to Cooper.
One more for you here, Spencer. We were talking about the new addition in some of your advisors that came on, and one of the advisors is the creator of NBA Top Shot, and among other things, we kind of already covered it a little bit earlier, but curious to get your take on, obviously the NBA has a relationship with NBA Top Shot and doing some of these NFTs and different things. Is the hope that there could be a more robust relationship with Calaxy and the NBA, and how do you see that unfolding in the future?
Definitely. I mean, I think initially we want to have a very robust relationship with Flow. Obviously, in terms of consumer-facing products, they've done well. Dapper Labs with CryptoKitties and now NBA Top Shot. So they have some of that formula and sauce down that we would love to be interoperable with and showcase on our platform. And secondarily, of course, I mean, I think having more tie-ins to, big time leagues, NBA, of course, with Dapper Labs and myself and some of the other people on our platform, it just makes perfect sense. Like we're here for the person to be able to monetize themselves, and the less friction that you have between player and fan, whether it's NBA, NFL, whatever it is, just the more robust the entire ecosystem is going to be, because that's what they want to be attached to and a part of, and that's why they go to games and watch their favorite player score 30 points or get 5 touchdowns or whatever it may be. So, we're just trying to be something that helps in that larger creator economy. Very
cool. Well, thank you, Spencer. We know you're on your way somewhere, but thank you for popping in, and we're just closing up, so perfect timing. And I know I speak on behalf of a lot of the Hedera community. We're very excited for Calaxy, very excited for beta and for things to unfold, and we're just really excited to watch this progress. And thank you for being a champion of Hedera and sort of choosing Hedera. And, it's just an exciting time for all of us who are early backers of Hedera to see these things come to fruition and know that other people are kind of seeing what we're seeing, and that Hedera might just be, a superior sort of layer one option here. So thanks again for taking time for Hedera Forum, and who knows, maybe we can find some time to do this again as Calaxy sort of matures and progresses throughout the coming months here.
No doubt. It's my pleasure. Just link with Cooper, and anytime I can hop on, it's my pleasure. I'm a big fan of Hedera and have watched you guys from time to time. So, thank you for having me.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so just last week, Cooper, I used one of your services. I booked some Cooper time. I wanted to have a call with you, and we booked it through Calaxy. I thought that was pretty neat. So which are some of the services that you guys are going to offer that you have the most interest in from the creators that you're working with?
It's a good question. So I think right now we have a feature set of about 9 different tools that people can configure to monetize with. Those include things like video calls, video messages, paid direct messages, shout outs on different platforms. But the one that I think I'm most excited about is that we have a quote unquote custom request that anyone is able to set up and personalize. So for example, one of the biggest people that we have, or at least my personal favorite of the people who's currently in the private beta, is Chef Hoppy. He's a celebrity chef who works for most of the Dallas Cowboys. So he's Ezekiel Elliott's personal chef among a bunch of other famous people. And he used this custom request service to actually set up cooking classes, or he will be offering dedicated cooking classes within Calaxy. So he could set up one that's like, do you want to learn how to make some pork ribs, and does like a live video call with you that you pay for with Hopcoin or whatever his social token is. So I think that ability to make personalized experiences that are specifically tailored to your fan base is what's going to be very, very interesting and probably the most popular.
Yeah,
another example, our lawyer at Calaxy has his own time where he'll offer you unofficial, potentially non-legal legal advice on the application. So it's a very repurposable offering.
Yeah, no, that's interesting what you said about the chef, and I could see people, having a party around that, and they put the chef up on the big screen, and everybody gets to do their thing. That would be neat.
And he could do it where he could have like one that's like a one-on-one cooking class, or he could have like a cooking party offering where it's just more of a group setting. But again, we just want to make it so any type of ways that these people can monetize from what I would say is under-leveraged or underutilized communities. We're going to try to build solutions specifically for them.
Fascinating stuff. That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I know you can't share the names, but I'd love to know who's comprised of that 100. I bet you that would be an interesting list to scroll through.
Yeah.
Any other ones stand out besides the chef for the Cowboys?
At the moment, we're going to be very strategic with how we roll out the application, not just now, but into the future. It really is a two-sided marketplace where you have fans and you have creators that those fans care about. And so making sure that you always have a good ratio or proportion of creators and fans in that creators community is going to be very key to our success. So right now we have probably about a 1-to-8 or 1-to-10 ratio of fans to creators, which is something that seems, it starts to feel right once you can have that level of interaction and engagement. And so we're going to make sure that we onboard fans for specific creators that we have on the app, rather than just people who want to check out the app. And so right now, I think, out of that 1 to 10, we have a number of pretty high profile people. So if you check out our website, you can see that Ezekiel Elliott is on board. He is the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most well-known people probably in the NFL. He's also a very close friend of the project and has been very, very helpful with making a lot of friendly introductions. I expect us to be very popular within the Cowboys organization. In addition to that, we have other people on our website obviously are going to be on the app, including Matt James, the Bachelor, who has been on TV, almost every day for the past couple of months. And Matt James is a great example of someone who does have a very diehard fan base and community of people who would probably pay him for things like Matt James video calls or a Bachelor themed NFT, for example. So those are, potentially exciting things. Other members on our website include Tiana Taylor, the Grammy winning musician. I think she has 12 million plus followers on Instagram alone. So that's just an example of kind of like the profile or demographic of people that we have. So everything from celebrity chefs to some professional athletes and musicians, people in that network. Can't share all the names, but we do have over 100, maybe even over 125 content creators already signed up that have plans to launch their own social tokens exclusively on Calaxy.
Nice. Well, maybe Hedera Forum can be one of those creators someday. We'll see.
We would be very happy to do that. I don't know if I'm going to leak anything, but I'll name drop that we're excited to hopefully have Credible Crypto on there at some point. So, you know,
cool.
we are working with crypto influencers as well, and see, you know, a very obvious way that they can monetize their communities.
Very cool. Well, I'm gonna jump over one question here in the hopes that if Spencer is able to join later, we can save that one for him. We're curious as to the level of interest you've received, and we kind of touched on this, but from other athletes and creators. Are there any specific creators who have expressed early interest in Calaxy? And can you elaborate on any of these relationships besides the NBA, other sports, maybe other industries and players, celebrities, influencers, etc.? We kind of just covered it, but anything else that sort of stands out for you?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously we started very much athlete heavy, just based off Spencer and who we are as a project. Solo, our other co-founder, played college football and has a very deep network of professional athletes as well. So that's kind of where we started. But as we kind of fleshed out and uncovered what Calaxy really can be, back to kind of my initial comments, like Calaxy really wants to empower the creator middle class, those people who are underutilized by the tools they currently have to earn a living. So like Zeke and Spencer obviously have multi-million-dollar professional sports contracts. They don't necessarily need additional tools to help them earn a living. So we're really building for people on Instagram who have very niche communities, you know, 50,000, 500,000, but those that have super fans who will actually spend money and have them try to be self-sustaining in what they do. Whether those are DIY hobbyists or, you know, just content creators making YouTube channels like you guys, there are, you know, hopefully we can build sets of tools that can make it so you aren't dependent on other means of income. We have interest from just about every type of persona that you could imagine that would want to earn money from something like a Cameo or something like a Patreon. We have professional athletes, we have, you know, award-winning musicians, we have actual artists, we have a lot of like Instagram and fitness models, we have I think a couple comedians even, we have a couple celebrity chefs, you have random, you know, crypto influencers. I'm not gonna name drop anyone besides Credible because he might actually watch this, so shout out to him. But we do have other notable people in the crypto space. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Obviously, Roham is an advisor of ours, and Roham's on the app and stuff like that too. So, you know, we're getting interest from everywhere. One of the things that we do really expect is we are expecting to be extremely popular in the APAC region. Spencer and our team likes to say this, but there are close to, if not more, NBA fans in China than there are people living in the United States. The NBA is just massive in APAC and China specifically. And so we expect to not only tailor our content for those communities and for those different demographics, but also to have quote unquote local talent from APAC as well, whether those are the equivalent of professional athletes abroad or notable, you know, musicians or music groups. But yeah, tailoring to everyone, but hopefully empowering the middle class.
So Cooper, since you mentioned Roham, we'll go into this next question. Today, you guys had a big announcement, the addition of 4 advisors, which included Roham, who is the founder and CEO of Dapper Labs. They're the creators of the NBA Top Shot, which has been big lately. We have Adrian, CEO of Liquify, Rahul, the researcher at Blue Sky, and that's he's part of Twitter's decentralized social networking effort. We have Chad, the legal counsel for the Center Consortium. These are some heavy hitters in the space. What attracted these guys to Calaxy?
It's a good question. I think all of them come at their expertise from different angles. So Roham and Dapper Labs were the creators of CryptoKitties. The CTO of Dapper Labs is the man who actually created the ERC 721 specification. So you could consider him to be the father of NFTs and collectibles in a lot of regards. So Roham specifically, I think he is the best suited person probably in the world for how we can take crypto and collectibles to mass markets and really explain these things and put them in a digestible way that people want to buy and want to own and want to trade. So I think in terms of like Roham's expertise, like no one is probably better suited in the world for how do you package these things and get people interested in them. We see that through CryptoKitties shutting down Ethereum in 2017, to them building their own blockchain now because Ethereum just wasn't going to scale to their size. And now things with like NBA Top Shot and what they've alluded to are future Top Shot-like things. So Roham obviously is expert there. Adrian from Liquify has great connections in the APAC region, and specifically towards securitization products. So with Spencer being the first NBA player to securitize his NBA contract, Adrian is very, very helpful in establishing network connections, gauging interest in APAC, and all types of securitization offerings. Raul, who is a very active member of the Hedera community, which I'm sure a lot of people might see, he's actually Hedera MVP, among other things, is a technical advisor to us, so very specifically helping us with specifications, protocol designs, interoperability solutions. You'll notice that he was actually a co-author of the Hedera improvement proposal that I recently submitted, which we can circle back to. But Raul brings immense technical expertise building on a variety of blockchains, including Ethereum, Hedera, and Flow. And then Chad Richmond is a good friend of mine who is the senior legal counsel at the Center Consortium, which is the organization behind USDC, which is a collaboration between Coinbase and Circle. USDC is obviously one of the highest volumes and highest value stablecoins currently available in the crypto market, available on a number of blockchains at the moment. It's not just Ethereum based. So Chad being able to provide his legal expertise as well as strategic relationships within the consortium and stablecoin world should hopefully be very helpful for us. But this is just our initial group of advisors. Obviously, there are some, to use your words, heavy hitters. But I think that this is a great group of people to help us where we're currently at. And I'm sure we're excited to onboard more advisors in the future to help us, grow to where we'll be.
Well, you certainly have a good start.
Yeah. We're very proud, very excited, and couldn't be more grateful for all the help that they've given us.
So Cooper, as a follow-up to what we were just discussing, there was a mention there of Twitter and Blue Sky. That certainly caught my attention. We have one of the big social media networks mentioned in your announcement. Can you give us some insight into Blue Sky?
Absolutely. So for anyone who's not familiar, Blue Sky is an effort from Jack Dorsey and Twitter to effectively come up with decentralized social media standards and protocols. So coming up with ways that people can actually own and use their data, that social media protocols wherever they are can be interoperable, and people can go towards the platforms that provide them the best experience. So Blue Sky and Calaxy is really looking forward to and working towards a future where anyone who implements this decentralized social media protocol could actually be on a level playing field. They wouldn't have a moat based off already having network effects or having good content. That content would be decentralized and people would be able to compete on who provides the best user experience or tools for monetization. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to have Raul from Blue Sky. I think he's one of only like 15 or so people in the world working on it. So it's really, really exciting.
Well, Cooper, you must have unique insights as to the capabilities Hedera has to offer, being a former employee. Why is Hedera such a good fit for Calaxy? And are there any key features Calaxy will offer that stand out to you in early development?
It's a good question. I mean, for Calaxy being able to transact at scale with very, very close to instant settlement and low fees is hugely important. What we are going to have is hundreds of thousands, millions of people using our applications. Like we have individual creators who have tens of millions of followers. If they come on alone and we get 10% of their fan base, that is 1 million people. And so being able to transact at scale and at predictably low cost is something super, super important to us. Being able to know that if someone does onboard 1 million fans overnight into our app and they want to buy those social tokens, that it is not going to be a ridiculous cost, and know that it is something that we can actually predict revenue out, months, years in advance is super, super important to us. You just could never do anything like that on Ethereum or most of these traditional networks. Just the economics just don't work. In addition to that, we do really love Hedera's enterprise and council, enterprise-led governance and council. We are in conversations with a number of high-profile leagues, organizations, associations, etc., and being able to come to them and say, hey, we're building on a technology that is actually owned and operated by Google, by IBM, by these leading companies, obviously makes those conversations a lot easier to have. So we're very happy with that angle as well. And just the Hedera ecosystem in general has been great, being able to work with different members of the community, whether that's Suku's doing interesting things. I think we all saw the announcement of Chainlink joining the Hedera Governing Council. So we're really excited about being an early participant in the ecosystem and being able to help kind of steward it into what it can grow to become.
So Cooper, there was I've been hearing some really good things about your Hedera improvement proposal. A lot of the developers I've been talking to say it's something that's really needed. Can you explain your HIP and why you submitted it?
Yeah, so for anyone not familiar, HIPs or Hedera improvement proposals are kind of the formal process for suggesting changes to not only the Hedera network, but to the ecosystem as well. So, actual changes to the services code, to the networking code, or things like community specifications, examples, demo apps, those types of things can all come out of these improvement proposals. It was a process that Pablo and the hashing systems team actually in like 2018, 2019 kind of forked from the Ethereum community, as most people did. And I think that I really helped Pablo and the hashing systems team bring that to something accepted by Hedera. Actually, since I left, it's been re-picked up and kind of revamped by the product team at Hedera, which is great to see. I'm very excited to see ongoing efforts, and you even see things like Lehman posting Hedera improvement proposals, which is an incredible thing to see. So that's kind of what HIPs are. Recently, myself and Raul, our technical advisor, submitted a Hedera improvement proposal suggesting a change to the token service. The suggested change is being able to add custom fees to any tokens that are generated via the token service. So what that looks like in our case, and I'll kind of leak some alpha or drop some news, is being able to associate fees with any of the social tokens on Calaxy, being able to prove that XYZ or a specific token is able to capture value from every social token that is issued or created by these celebrities. The nice thing about being able to define custom fees for any token on the token service is that you can make it really dynamic and generalizable. So if you wanted to pay 6 different parties with fees enforced on chain, you could really easily do that. And so what that means is if someone took a social token to Binance or took a social token to Exodus as a third-party wallet, we could still enforce that relationship and that fee value capture even if it's in an entirely different third-party application, because the enforcement of those fees is happening on-chain or on Hedera rather than at our application level. So instead of having to write some super complicated smart contract that says anytime you want to send Spencer's social token to Brandon, and like requiring 6 custom fees in that smart contract, you would be able to just define it at the time that you create Spencer's token. And it would basically have its own fee schedule like the Hedera network currently has. In addition to being able to generalize it and add multiple parties to those fees, you could actually do percentage-based fees, which is the equivalent of royalties for NFTs. So similarly to saying every time you send one Spencer token, you need to attach a fee to it, you can say anytime that you send a Spencer NFT, you have to attach a percentage-based fee to it. And so this is a really easy way that you can do dynamic royalties or perpetual royalties on NFTs. So every time that an NFT gets transferred, you could do 2 things. You could have the value captured by like a native protocol token, and you could have a percentage of that value going to the original content created. Like all at once, no one has to code any custom logic for this. It fully operates on chain. And it would enable not only ours, but a number of exciting use cases. Anyone building collectibles, anyone building liquidity providing protocols, almost anyone doing DeFi stuff. We've talked to a number of the community, and there's a lot of interest in using it. And I think I'm excited to see a lot of support from Hedera about it as well.
Good stuff. So I was going to ask a question a little bit later, but since you're talking about these social tokens, I might as well pull it up. So like a token that's based off of somebody's contract, that would certainly be a security. It sounds like you believe these social tokens would not be securities. Why is that the case? And just kind of take us through that logic.
Absolutely. So we haven't kind of pulled back the curtain, so to speak. We will have documentation, and I will say a white paper coming out in the next couple of weeks, which will be hopefully the more full-fledged answer of how we pull all of this off.
Sure.
But at the beginning, we allow creators to have kind of two models for their social tokens. If you want to, and you are a consumer or a creator who really doesn't have a savvy community, who isn't investment based, who has, depending on the demographics of your fans, we want to make it as easy as possible for them to actually monetize and issue these tokens. And so in order to do that, we actually currently give two options. So one of them is a stablecoin model. You can create a social token on Calaxy that is one-to-one backed by USDC, hence the center connections, and or potentially other types of stablecoins. So if you want, as a creator, when you create your token, you can say, hey, my community is not very technically savvy. They don't really care about price fluctuation. They just want something that looks like me and feels like me and they can pay me with. And you can still do cool different things based on your demographics, like airdrops, like incentive programs. But you have a one-to-one collateralization with stablecoins, so anyone can withdraw or bounce back their tokens out of a liquidity pool at any time. So that is what we expect to be kind of our most popular option, just based off of who we currently have, and expect over time people will be more interested in what we will call smart price tokens or dynamically priced tokens. So a creator, when they're making their social token, can choose to have a dynamically priced token that is backed by what we call a token bonding curve in the industry. It's the same thing that actually operates Unisocks, or if you're familiar with things like Rally or Roll, which are social token platforms as well, those tokens will operate very similarly and dynamic to those. So depending on who you are and what you're looking for, you can have kind of the best of both worlds there. And then when you go to set up your video calls, you go to set up your perks or whatever you're charging for, you just set the quantity of tokens that you want to charge for a service. So that's kind of how that works. Obviously, if you are a stablecoin based creator token, there is no world in which that's a security. And then we also believe, based off the dynamics of bonding curves and any historical legal precedent for bonding curve tokens, that they also shouldn't be considered a security. It's a very publicly verifiable mechanism by which price goes up or down. There's no expectations of profits, and there is a lot that you can actually do in terms of spend and or use the tokens outside of potentially speculation. With that being said, I'm very glad that I'm not a lawyer, and I'm very glad that we do have a really great legal team behind us, as well as advisors who are obviously legal experts in the industry.
Now, that sounds like it would be a great plan going forward. But I do have another question. It would be nice to be able to trade some of the ones that are obviously securities, the ones that are based off of things like Spencer's contract. Are there any discussions with regulated exchanges or platforms that might allow security tokens to be traded more freely?
So that is a good question. Obviously, with Spencer being who he is and being the first professional athlete in the NBA to securitize his contract, there's a lot of interest in doing security token offerings. The ability to freely transact or trade security tokens is something that I feel is underexplored in the entire industry. Usually you see them on siloed permission blockchains or centralized solutions entirely, because they need every participant in that ecosystem to go through appropriate accreditation and verification. There are really, really interesting dynamics with Hedera's KYC/approved deny lists on the token service, where we could actually allow anyone who is verified by either Calaxy or a third-party verification service to freely transact in securities tokens. They would just need to be approved by some type of identity provider on chain, which is an interesting model that we'll definitely explore. But I don't believe any widely circulating security tokens are available on things like Binance or things like that. Usually as soon as they get like a whiff of security, you're going to get delisted, as we saw with things like Ripple and others.
Sure. But I'm sure that ecosystem of security tokens is going to expand with things like Toko that DLA Piper's putting together. I'm sure there's going to be platforms that are going to make it a lot easier for us to participate.
That's definitely the hope. Spencer will always try to pioneer contract securitization. I expect him to do a follow-up offering in the next, coming soon. And I'm definitely excited about, like I said, the ecosystem that's growing around Hedera and being a very active contributor to that with things like you said, DLA Toko is super interesting. I don't know if anyone saw, but even in their presentation, they're using sports contract securitization as a pilot use case. So very excited about the ecosystem of securitization that's obviously coming to Hedera soon.
All right. Well, I think that's most of the questions we have, sir. But Cooper, always great to chat with you and to catch up. And I think that's the end of the list here. Brandon, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's about it. I appreciate your time, Cooper.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys as well. We'll do our best to get Spencer back on an episode here. If anyone is interested, he did recently do a podcast with Robinhood that I thought was really, really good, talking a lot about his background. So would highly recommend going and giving that a listen. But yeah, I really appreciate your guys' time. Excited to be the second guest on the Hedera Forum. So shout out to Rob again. And really excited as we move from Calaxy's private beta into a more public beta, that the community can start getting their hands on it and giving us their feedback. They'll also be able to watch us all on all of the network and block explorers, as we are excited about.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. We hope you'll tune in to another Hedera Forum coming soon. And Cooper, all the best of luck over at Calaxy, and we'll certainly be keeping tabs on the development and can't wait to see how this unfolds. So thanks again for your time.